Hello everyone, my name is Clantis and welcome to the clan. So without further ado, let's get into this video because I have to run somewhere and I just noticed my glasses are quite dirty. But anyways, we are not there. Please do me a favor by smashing the like button and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet. Oh my goodness, what just happened at the North Gauteng High Court in the Senzo Meyiwa murder retrial? The current witness, which is I think is Lieutenant Colonel Mangena. Remember last week we talked about why Mangena and Gininde need to take the stand this week? Well, Baloyi decided, oh hey, I cannot withhold this one for that long. Bring the ballistic expert, which is Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, who is currently singing like a canary on the stand, and he just dropped a bombshell. Now we'll get to the bombshell, but first, who is this Mangena? So basically Mangena was a captain back in 2014-2015 during the time when Senzo Meyiwa was murdered. And of course, he's the guy that got hold of this particular case to investigate in terms of ballistics. So one of the things that I also picked up from his profile is that he is the guy who is the reason why Oscar Pistorius is behind bars due to the evidence that he collected, and I think Judge Masipa decided to ignore that evidence, hence she came with the verdict of culpable homicide. But of course, at a later stage, then Oscar Pistorius is serving some time in prison. I hear he's out. But anyways, we are not there. So basically, he was giving a list of all his experiences and cases that he has won in the past, both internationally and domestically. And then I was like, okay, fine, you're a credible witness. But the question is, are you going to tell the truth on the stand? And he decided, I'm going to tell some truth. Not all the truth, but some truth, because we got to the point where he had to tell us about the crime scene. Of course, he went through this whole technical, scientific explanations with jargons, which I don't think is any of our interest on this channel. Our interest is who killed Senzo Meyiwa and where is the murder weapon. So he says that he received the evidence that he was going to test, and one of the things that he wanted to test was the t-shirt and the vest that Senzo Meyiwa was wearing. But before all of that, he went to see Senzo Meyiwa when he was being is it dissected? Oh my god, that's terrible. When his body was being operated on for autopsy, and this is when he says he took then his that body in his own, I think the mental photo in his mind, and went back to the crime scene. Basically, when he got there, it was to place the body and to see whether he was standing, he was seated, he was squatting, or whatever the case was when he got shot. And then, of course, he mentions how how close the gun as well as Senzo Meyiwa, and he called it that it was a close range contact, but he also called it a loose contact because the gun wasn't necessarily pressed against his body, but was somewhere here. How he knows that it was a loose contact, because apparently this is called a loose contact and this is a direct contact or hard contact, as he said. And then after that, since it was a loose contact, the bullet is going to look different. And then he spoke about all the other technical stuff that you'll find in a gun, that you'll find in a bullet, and what exactly will cause that particular look of the bullet hole on his chest. And then of course he confirms that he was shot through the front, which is the entry wound, and then it came out through the back, I think his right shoulder or something like that, which is the exit wound. Now my interest was more like, okay, we heard on the witness stand Zandile as well as Tapsing mentioning that there were 3 gunshots that were fired. Mtogo only heard 1, Tumelo heard 1, please correct me if I'm wrong. And then we found out that actually there were two gunshots that were fired. And if you remember, was it Tapsing or it was Kaya? I think it wasn't Tapsing who said the second gunshot, it was 15 minutes after the first gunshot. Now, the pathologist yesterday said that it could have taken Senzo Meyiwa about seconds to minutes before he died. So meaning that it would have taken him literally seconds to die or few minutes to die. So me, I put it at estimation of 2 minutes down to about seconds. Now that we have this particular witness, Mangena, who's now talking about how close the gun was to Senzo Meyiwa before he was shot, to me that sounds like it was an instantaneous death, meaning in seconds, not even in minutes. It was an instantaneous death because of how close the barrel of the gun as well as the bullet when it entered his body. And now the question is, can somebody account for the 15 minutes before the second gunshot went off? Who shot it and why did they shoot it? Because you can't tell me that the intruders are still in the house at this point in time, because we all know that at least the intruders, what they would have done is wipe everybody out. Because there are witnesses. There are witnesses. Why leave them behind? I fully agree with Senzo Meyiwa's brother, Senzo Meyiwa, when he said, when any hitman comes or an intruder comes, wipes everything so that they will leave no witnesses. So now I was like, okay, cool. Now, what kind of a gun was this? So then this is when he started talking about the bullet that was found. He talks about when the bullet hit the door wasn't fully closed, it was half opened, hence, and then he discussed something about hard bullets and soft bullets, and then he talked about a bullet hole that he found on the tiles in the kitchen of the Kumano house, and then we went on the whole scientific explanation and the angles of the gun and the measurement of the bullet hole on the tiles and things like that. And then it's time to go to the lab to examine everything that he has collected. And guess what? When he looked at the bullet's head, even though he was brought a 9mm pistol, the bullet doesn't match the gun. The bullet does not match the gun. Boom. This is a bombshell. Because now the question is, who came with that bullet projectile that was found behind the glass jars? Secondly, what happened to the second bullet? Why was the second bullet shot? And for what purposes was the second bullet shot? And then I have a theory. I wanted to touch on it yesterday, but then I thought, let's wait for the ballistics first before I can add my 2 IQs here and say, I'll tell you what happened. The moment Senzo Meyiwa got shot, everybody was told, guys, we're in trouble. All of us are in trouble. We need to cook up a story here that we are going to tell the world. And also remember, during that time, guess whose trial was on? Oscar Pistorius, who was telling the court that intruder walked into his house, and then at that time, and I still say at that time around October, Oscar Pistorius looked like he was going to win this case on the grounds of culpable homicide. He did not know that it was River Steenkamp on the other side, but thought it was intruder or intruders that had entered his well-gated community. And now they thought, if Oscar Pistorius, I'm thinking this is a discussion that is happening in the house amongst the 6 people that are left, with Senzo Meyiwa's dead body right there, right? And then they cook up a story and say, listen, we need somebody who's experienced. This is where probably, I'm not saying this is the truth, I wasn't there, I'm just rubbing my 2 IQs here and I'm voicing my opinion that I think this is where either one of the Kumalo girls said, let's call Uncle. He will solve this one for us. Uncle comes before even the neighbors knew what just happened. Uncle comes and then Uncle does what? Okay, guys, to protect you, I'm not sure if he uses his own service pistol, shoots the tiles. That's the second gunshot. 15 minutes after the first gunshot. The first gunshot, of course, is the one that killed Senzo Meyiwa. The second gunshot, it is in Zulu we say ukulashwa umkhondo. You know, like these intruders came, they shot at Senzo Meyiwa, they missed the second time when they tried to shoot somebody else. I don't know what the story was going to be about the second bullet, about the second gunshot. So that is what I'm thinking, where the second bullet comes from. And then After that, because remember, in order for a murder trial to succeed, you need a murder weapon, or at least you need the bullet projectile of that particular murder weapon, so that when this particular guy examines the bullet, he must be able to tell whether this bullet was from the gun that was brought for ballistic testing or from another gun. And now he has confirmed that that bullet projectile ain't coming from the 9mm. No, it does not come from the 9mm. It comes from another gun. And he hasn't said which gun that is. And I looked at Baloy. Baloy looked like... And here I was thinking, I got an ace up my sleeve and I will nail accused number 3, because I think he already knows or sees that, you know what, the other 4 might walk free, but let me at least hold this one down, because I already have a bullet and a gun that I can place in his hands and place it at the Khumalo house with Senzo Meyiwa being shot by it. That is where we're at right now. And of course, they've taken a short break. And I just went through load shedding, you guys. So that means I'm going to have to watch the rest of this testimony and cross-examination at some point. And hopefully that video is going to come out tonight. Can I please ask you to be patient with me till about 9 p.m.-ish? Because, I know, guys, rain is raining on me. It's not raining, it's pouring with absolute nonsense of a service. And of course, I've canceled it. It's just that I need to go through this month before I'm completely canceled, and then they come and collect the nonsense of a router. So at this point in time, you just guys gonna have to be patient with me. Sometimes some of the videos will come out the following day instead of the same day. You would hear me say today. If you hear me say today, just know that that video was it failed to upload the previous day. It only got uploaded sometime during the night when we all were asleep. So I apologize for that. It's beyond my control, as you guys know. But anyways, I am going to create a comprehensive video and comprehensive analysis on what just happened in court. Maybe this Mangena guy might change his story and say, actually, this is what I was trying to say. Because I think from what I've been hearing from people who listened to the first trial, he was adamant about this 9mm and that planted bullet. Now, who planted that bullet? Now, that's the question. We need Mhlosha back on the stand. We need Mhlosha back on the stand. We need Musia back on the stand. They need to tell us where that bullet fragment comes from. The one that was found behind the glass jars, they need to come and tell us where that bullet came from, because the gig is up. The gig is up, y'all. The gig is up. At this point in time, if I was Baloy, I would stop being stubborn and just withdraw this case against the 5 people that stand accused of killing Senzo Meyiwa, because Ballistic just said it. Ballistic just said it. Okay, maybe it did not say like directly, these 5 people that are here are innocent. No, that bullet that was found at the Khumalo house, it does not match the pistol, the 9mm that was brought to the ballistic for testing and trying to match the 2. No, it isn't. But anyways, guys, if you like the video, give it a like. If you didn't like the video, give it a like. Anyways, do subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to click the bell notification so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. And my super thanks are turned on. Thank you so much to everybody that's super thanking this channel and supporting it financially. I highly appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Do leave me a comment down below and let me know, do we still think that bullet was planted? Yes. It now confirms that we've been right all this time. Yes, it was planted. And Musia needs to come back, and Thobeka needs to come back and explain. And then I highly appreciate you guys for always sharing my videos. I do see that in the analytics. You guys are the best. Please, once again, smash the like button for me. Let's get to 1,000 likes one more time. Not one more time, every time, okay? And then I'll see you next time with a new video. Goodbye.